Test mic 1 2 3 1 2 3 test mic 1 2 1 2 test mic 1 2. All right, guys. So let's talk about the current state of the game, and I have experienced this too. Okay. It's not something everyone's imagining. Like I said this morning, being like surrounded by enemies is kind of a problem. But not only when you have a very low level, even if you have like 2 levels up, maybe 1 level up. Currently, I have 1 level higher than the mobs here, but if I'm surrounded by these hyenas, I'm dead. So the only solution here, for me, to knockback, like default knockback and stagger, like this, to attacks. I don't know if there's a rune that adds this, but this ability says it can knock back enemies, right? But it doesn't. Doesn't knock them back. Let's see. Let me remove this filth. Nope. No knockback. Okay, here we go. So this is what happens in crowds, right? If you don't have knockback, you just go running around like this, which is a little bit boring. But if our attacks have this built in, which it should, but it doesn't have any effect, I guess. There's no knockback there. It says knockback. Knock enemies back on hit, but it doesn't. So there's chat going on here. Let me remove that. I don't know why this keeps coming back. Okay. So if we have this knockback and stagger a mechanic, example for different weapons, there would be different effects, different skills, different physical attributes, like different force. Like right now, the knockback is so small. There is a knockback, and it doesn't affect larger units like this, which is good, right? For smaller units like this, it works. But then I think it kind of needs to be featured more, the mechanic. I haven't tried melee yet, but based on the videos I see, melee attacks don't do this, don't have knockback built into them. So this is what happens to me. I keep running around. Kind of crazy. you kind of have to do it instead of just staying here and knocking them back maybe a little bit more. Like right now, doesn't do much. It has the potential because the system is there, right? For small enemies like this, it should knock them back like even further. So you don't have to, the players won't have to want to like kill the enemies outright, because they're actually virtually killing them by pushing them back. So you can have like very strong very hard, like hard to kill monsters, a few of them, and it would still feel very engaging. Like this one, I don't know, are they immune to knockback? These are small. They should have like, they should be thrown away by this force, right? By the force of this gun. Of course, certain abilities like explosions, ice abilities like this would not, of course, will not push back enemies. Lightning abilities like this will not. Of course, there's no force to it, right? But at least on impact, there should be like a reaction. But like this, abilities like this should knock them back. I mean, there, you can see it, right? There is that effect, right? But it's too small. You can still get crowded. Compared to this, something like this should be a default. Like this amount of force should be a default. And the player too, when hit by a force, should be knocked back. Now, the player can have like a knockback resistance, stagger resistance, and stuff like that. Right? So it's going to be a more robust system if we add this into the game. But it's already there, so there's not much work to do. It's just amplify it a little bit so that crowds, you know, I mean, I don't have to need this thing. So it shouldn't be like, this is an ability, right? So if it knocks back enemies even beyond the target, right? But if this was just a weapon, let's say it was a bludgeon weapon, like a staff maybe. So a staff doesn't have like enough force to like knock back 3 enemies in a cone in front of me here, right? The single opponent can be like staggered if I hit him on the head, right? So the enemy would like kneel down for like 0.5 seconds or 1 second maybe, just to keep the game like a little bit paced, little bit more tactical than just being rushed always. It makes the game feel more fun, and you can then adjust the difficulty of your opponents there. You can add more abilities for the monsters, more abilities they can do, like maybe they can leap forward to you, or they can roll, or they can like, they're like crawling enemies, or they can have like a shield around them that prevents that force, that absorbs that force, so they can just keep on coming to you. So there's, if we add this element, this mechanic, if we make this feature a little bit more prominent in the game, this is going to allow the game to give players more enemy types and more dynamic encounters. Like right now, if I shoot this, doesn't really stagger him that much. See, I just keep falling back. But if it was like this, right, it would have been more fun. So certain abilities won't have, like, of course, flame, but this won't have much force because it's just freeze ability, like, and the visuals don't show that it has like super strong force to it. Maybe it can stagger enemies and have the potential to freeze them, but it doesn't really have that mechanical force, like physical force. Let's see, if we shift our ammo, see, so it's a crossbow, so it shouldn't have like too much staggering power, right? Too much knockback power, but it can stagger. It should stagger because the enemy got a bolt like stuck in his body, so it should stagger the enemy, right? Explosions, bombs, different types of weapons will have like different force, and the strength, if your character is strong, and let's say he's using a two-handed weapon, right, like a great hammer, right, and if he sweeps that vertically like this, if I hit him like this, it should like throw them off, the enemy, or like make them roll down. Like the enemies would then have like different effects applied to them. Like they could be like this has pinning, we have stun, right? They could be like stun, like when you actually, this one has this stun effect, right? And for 5 hits, enemies would actually be stunned for like 0.5 seconds maybe. Very useful for bosses. But we could have that like common in the game, just to allow players to manage crowds, right? And the game is not going to be ruined because of that, because if you have that like clearly there in the game, it's going to like allow you to develop around it, develop enemies and encounters around it, which is, I think, oh my god, if the devs would do that, I mean, it's going to be next generation ARPG. Like, imagine if you get shot by this in real life, right? Monster or not, you're gonna get thrown off. And depending on the force, like, if this was level, let's say level 5, and it has like a modifier to force, like there's you get something like this, like a support gem that has modifier to force, right? And it adds more force to your explosive attacks. And my god, the physics, you'd see like enemies being thrown off the screen, and it's, oh my god, it's going to be so satisfying without killing them. Okay, so they don't die, they just thrown off, and you know, they're staggered for a little bit because of the force. And if you have a very strong character like a melee barbarian, something like that, let's say, right, his strength is such that it adds a multiplier, like a percent multiplier to his force, right? And then when he swings his weapons, like if it was a bludgeon weapon, it would have more force, and if it was a stabbing weapon, then it would be different, right? If it was a slashing weapon, it would be different. The stagger would be more. The knockback would be less, but the stagger would be more, right? So when you attack enemies, like let's say there's a crowd here, and when you attack them, because when you focus your attacks here, for example, from the mobs that are coming through here, right? So there you're about to be surrounded, right? So there are more here coming, then there are opponents here. So you slice. They're not dead, right? They're not dead, but they're staggered. So you move again here, slice. So you're actually managing the crowd instead of wishing to kill them as fast as you can, so you can then deal with this. And if you don't have enough damage, you're gonna get like rounded and die. Like, or what you do is just run around, slice, move, slice, move, slice until you get to the edge of the map. So that's if we implement that. Just test it. Okay? Test it for a week. My goodness. Like, look at this. Supposed to have knockback, but it's not doing anything. So all I want to do here is to kill them. I just want to kill them so I can move. Or I just keep running around them like this. That's not fun, man. Especially when the enemies are fast. This one are slow moving enemies, and that's fine. This one are fast moving. So I'm just utilizing my dodge skill to not get hit, and my speed. Okay, so the monk, right? So I think the current idea today, the house, is the monk will have all of these skills in their skills, right? The monk can push back enemies better than other characters, right? But it doesn't have to be like that. Like, you don't have to be 1 or 0. It can be 1 to 10. So the monk abilities like this one can be made like more powerful, right? So it would have like stronger stagger. You don't have to have strength to do it. Your strength won't matter. The quality of your weapon won't matter, because it's an ability. It's a monk knockback ability. Like here, I'm gonna get surrounded here. What do I do? I'm poisoned. I'm surrounded. Right? So that was clearly like a mistake on my part. So I don't have the killing power, and I put myself in that position, right? But at least if I had stagger there, so the crowd that was pushing me right here, I could have like more control over it. So when I saw the rear side that it was a dead end, I could have just focused on pushing them back, right? That is, there are options, right? How to get out of things like this. Like if this gun does what it says it should, and I wouldn't have to, you know, use this much often. There's no stagger there. No stagger happening. They're pushed back, okay, but they're not knocked back. So like I want to see like enemies like being falling down the ground. Like some enemies would have like 0.5 seconds to recover, and some same class of enemies, like for example same like this Scooby-Doo, what's this, Sun Score Dead, like let's say 5 Sun Score Dead enemies, you're fighting 5 of them, right? So the one on the back would not take much of the hit, so he would be staggered a little bit. Then those on the front would be hit stronger, but those from the left and the right side would have different effects, right? Those from the front would have like the brunt of the force. The sides would have different effects. So then let's say you have a wider range of your AoE, right? Of your default attack has a AoE, like a force would equal force. Like you can shoot 3 enemies together with equal force, right? Let's say. There should also be randomization to how they react. So one of them would like be thrown off, like roll over there and take like 2.5 seconds to recover, right? So one of them would be like staggered just a little bit and thrown to the side here. Like it would be like, whoa, like falling down there, and it would fall down there. Then the other would just be like, just hit once, like just being punched, right? Staggered for like 0.8 seconds. So those things, if those things are here, that would be so much fun. So it makes like skills like what was that? Glacier. The one that explodes this. This is a skill that explodes this. Makes this explode. So this explosion, for example, would have force, right? Against slower enemies, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna kill them. So imagine the possibilities. I mean, I've been waiting for 10 years for a game to have that. So how do the problem there is like when you're thinking about it theoretically, right? Theocrafter. The problem there is sometimes how do we damage the players then? Well, the first response to that is first you're already not damaging the player with this normal thing. Okay, right now the only thing that can kill me in melee if the opponent either swarms me like that, which is too much, or if I willingly stand there and take the hit, or if they leap towards me attacking, like they would jump at me, right? So we can have an enemy like does that, like it jumps at you, strikes and falls back. So they're like zerglings, right? Bam. So when you shoot someone or hit someone with your sword or bludgeon weapon mid-air, you can stop them, right? If you have enough strength, your force is enough. If not, then they're just gonna keep coming, but their attacks would be lowered. They would be staggered, right? So they won't be able to attack you immediately once they hit you. Like that. You're still gonna get hit because, you know, like I said, it's not a fixed fallback mechanic. It still has random elements to it, like your default, like compared to this ability, it should be like consistent, like because it's an ability, right? But if it's a default attack, it would be like sometimes he's staggered, sometimes the stagger is just 0.2 seconds, sometimes the fallback is a little bit stronger, sometimes not. So it's like it simulates the hit, like where you hit them, right? Similar to playing Dead Space. No, I've frozen him. I think he has physical resistance. No.
Didn't break a sweat.
Like wands, you can't use wands. You can't slam wands to enemies. And certain ammunitions, for example, won't have too much, won't have the force to push enemies back. Like for example, piercing weapons, they would have stagger, but they will not have knockback. Currently, I think physical damage in this game is overpowered. Simply because there is not enough of the knockback and stagger mechanic. Anyway, we still have time. But I'm gonna be pushing this idea. I hope other YouTubers would pick them up and see the value of this mechanic. Like bows, for example, won't have knockback unless it's a skill.
Not yet.
It actually knocks back enemies, or a rune, or maybe a modifier, or maybe a skill that actually something like this, a support gem that actually adds knockback, adds force 20 or 50, adds 50 knockback force to each arrow. Then some enemies will be like immune to it, and some would like small creatures like this would like be thrown off if even if you have like a wand or a staff.
I need more time.
Uh-oh.
I can't do that yet.
They actually still have boobies.
Desert fire!
See? You can still get hit. And that unleashes lightning stuff. He breaks armor.
Victory is mine.
It's actually nice. An aura that electrifies.
Cold, take you.
My Nova is level 4. But it feels very weak. I haven't seen anyone like being frozen by my Nova unless I go back to level 10 or something like that, and I'm like level 20. Let's see. Ice shards.
Ice shards targets the ground, leaving shards of ice that explode when enemies step on them. You can reload. Rapid shot heats up your crossbow as you continue to shoot, dealing more damage the hotter it gets. On hit, galvanic shards create arcs of lightning, which are effective at shocking enemies. Shocked enemies take more damage. You can reload manually by using this skill again.
Mm-hmm. I can't apply it there. All right.
Wild beast.
I think I'm gonna get the galvanic shards. Because it's lightning.
On hit,
And then let's try it here. For ammo. Okay. Does it have knockback? Doesn't have knockback. Doesn't need that. Does it have stun? It pins enemies. Let's try it. It's very low damage though.
Can't have you.
Does it pin them? I don't think it does. It does have a pinning build-up. So what if I have like I'm gonna swap Frost Nova with another ability. Let me go back down. I'm gonna get this ability. Oh, where's my stash? Stash. Here it is. So I'm gonna use. Oh no, not it. 3 Orb of Storms. So I'll use Orb of Storms and swap this with my Ice Nova here. Hello? What? Don't have any. Okay. Orb of Storms. Wait. Put this back here. Clear up the space. Okay. Orb of Storms. An AoE sustained lightning duration. Chaining orb. I actually don't have that. I'll only be able to take this effect from my elemental damage. Don't have stun. Stun build up modifier. So this is going to remove my stun. Okay. And that should be good. Now let's go back and try this. What's it? Orb of Storms. Let's see if it works. Let's place Orb of Storms.
Fall before me.
Does work. Wow. It actually froze them. It's nice. A nice touch. I'm keeping this things with sockets because I want to convert them. I like it. I think the only way to beat the boss here is if you're level 21. Right now I'm like level 20 and it's still hard. Will the marque. Where is it? Where's the boss? Right here. There's a checkpoint here. Yeah, I think it's over there. And card support gem. The Orb Stone. Chain. +1 times. 100 times. Can chain 100 more times, so double. 50 less damage. Overabundance. Support skills have +1 to limit. Support less skill effect. So it's quicker. It dissipates quicker. So this one stays longer. So let's look at this. Crescendo. Support skills here. Support. 1%, so you have 1%. Supported spells gains a seal every two. I already have this. More non-ailment damage over time. 20 less duration of supported skill and damaging ailments. A bigger area of effect. Triggers a shockwave when you take a step using supported skill. But it's an attack AoE. Maybe later. I have to think about that. I have to research. So here, supposed to go here, right? So this is the boss area here.
Die, scum!
Still too strong. We need to level up more. Yeah, so that's it for me. Think I got my point across, and I hope somebody will take it, improve it, and make it a reality. Thanks again.